Hokey religions and ancient weapons. No match for a good blaster, you say.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This is Tyler.
And this is Michael.
Welcome back. Episode
hey.
47.
47, one more than last time. Gonna make the same jokes that I did last time, too.
We're getting really close to that big 50 extravaganza that we don't have planned.
Well, we said 50 was our last episode.
It's just going to fade out. Yeah, that's right.
We're just going to end it.
Just
kill ourselves live on the podcast. Oh, wait, no.
Not in my house.
No? Why not? We'll do it outside.
Okay, that's fine.
Or I'll kill myself
in the yard.
Before I get here.
Okay, fine. Have your wife bring your body over.
I'll, I don't know, just ram my car into your
This
house.
was going nowhere. Anyways.
What, killing myself?
Sure.
I threaten to kill myself all the time.
Every time
it's the best
we
way
have
to get out of
this
things.
show. It's the best way to get out of things.
Well, what if I kill myself? Then what'll you do? Yeah, you better get me a large fry.
They just know that you're killing yourself anyways because of the fries. They're like, they're assisting. It's assisted suicide.
Well, which would you rather? A slow death or
French fries?
a big bloody death? Right
Big
in front
French
of you?
fry death.
I never said I would shove French fries up my holes until I died.
You didn't have to say it.
That's my plan.
I just knew.
You knew that already?
Well, just one look at your face, you could see it. And it's like, that's a French fry hole.
That's a fry hole, man.
That's a fry hole death coming any day now.
Any day now, I'll walk into a room, see a bunch of holes.
Michael full of fries.
Spilling over with fries.
Packed tight with fries.
This is bad.
This is bad. We're
This is
bad.
awful.
Everything is bad.
We're so bad.
Not again.
Anyway, why are we here?
We are here to talk about Star Wars like usual.
Guess what? We have things to talk about.
Michael,
For once.
read a book.
I did.
Whole book.
I did read a book. All by myself. And
I'll take your word on that.
it was good. It wasn't even an audiobook. I read it with words.
That's good. That's usually how books work.
I had that thought on the way over here. Why don't I do audio?
Why I don't audiobook?
What I don't listen instead of I words.
Why don't I do it with the ear sounds instead of the eye sounds?
Them I sounds is mighty hard. Mighty hard to work out.
So we both actually read Thrawn
Yes.
to completion.
Yes. Yes.
And
One of us likes
like we mentioned last episode, we said we probably wouldn't talk about Thrawn all that much, but probably half of this episode is going
we
to be
say
us
that?
talking about Thrawn.
I don't remember
We
saying
said that a few episodes ago.
Did I tell you? I don't normally do this, but I listened back to the episode we recorded.
Ugh. What?
Well, it was last
does
week.
that?
It was like right after it came out. I listened back and I didn't remember
No, it's.
any of it.
I think we've said this on the show before.
It's like a black hole.
When we record this podcast right now, I'm in a coma. This is like my brain has shut off.
Yes. Which is bad for recording a show. You'd think you'd want your brain.
It's just there's this weird
There's like a
black
weird
hole
corner.
autonomy that just kicks in. And
Yes, because there's just one little weird corner of your brain that takes over.
Yeah.
And you don't have access to the full
full functions.
full resources of your brain,
Thank God we're sitting down because we would just fall over.
which could be good, and it's mostly bad. It's mostly bad that we can't function as normal people.
We enter a literal stream of consciousness where it's just this-
Stream. I see what you did there. It's like the internet.
That's right, Michael. Thank you for relating to the millennials with your
Streams.
your terms. Streams. Cuck. What other words do they use? Quick.
Kanye.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Kanye's cuck stream. That's super relevant. That's the triumphant of relevancy.
Oh. So
We can make that real, right? Kanye's cockstream.com.
I mean,
That's more of a .net, actually. Kanye's cockstream.net.
I don't know. I'm partial to org.
.org.
Yeah,
No.
it's an
Makes me think of
organization.
Wikipedia. And Julian Assange. That's the same person, right? He does Wikipedia.
Yeah, he's that guy you have to donate to on Wikipedia when they need money.
Oh, no wonder nobody does it. No wonder they always need money.
That's why he has to stay at other people's houses all the time in other countries.
That's all he's doing?
Yeah,
He's just staying at somebody's
just crashing
house?
on couches to make Wikipedia stay alive. That's the story, right? I think I read the right Wikipedia
Relevant.
article.
Because he doesn't want to have sex with somebody or something like that, right?
Who knows?
Okay,
He had a leak, and then he had to leave.
He was leaking a little bit, and then he didn't want to have sex with somebody, so he had to crash on somebody's couch.
That makes
I think
total
that's how
sense
it
to me.
worked.
That's the exact route that I would take.
This is our new segment, current events.
Current events of 10 years ago. Kanye and Julian Assange and
It really has been. It really was like 5 years ago,
that was-
right?
none of this is relevant
This is not
to
good.
anyone forever.
This is not good.
So why don't we talk about Star Wars?
My butt itches.
When doesn't it?
When am I not itching my butt?
That's the question, Michael.
Anyway.
So, Han Solo has been filming at a power plant place.
The only location. Right?
Apparently, they've been shooting there for a while now. But they
At a power
have
plant?
they have the the hover cars. There's like a hover car chase thing happening outside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shots because it's a public. It's out in the open. It's a big power plant, so there a lot of people got some video and photos from it. There was a guy in a black cloak, looked to be a stormtrooper. Armor underneath it.
With a cloak.
He had a cloak on. I'm assuming trying to hide, probably
yeah.
trying to hide from photos.
Right.
But his
Just
boots,
a normal stormtrooper?
His boots were stormtrooper boots for sure. You could see the
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, you
In a Star Wars movie?
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's, I guess, stormtroopers chasing him around. I don't know. It looks cool. It's cool to see things happening in the open because the trilogy has gotten very hidden.
Yes. And this movie just doesn't seem real to me.
That is actually
right
happening.
now. Yeah. Like, but they're like,
I mean, it
far
comes out
along.
5 months after Last Jedi,
Right.
which is nuts. 2 Star Wars films.
I think
in,
it'll probably get pushed. I imagine.
I think it will too. But if it actually happens, 2 Star Wars films in 6
it's
months
only-
would be nuts.
It's only a year from releasing. There's no way they're going to finish photography.
They're still filming it.
Yeah, I think it'll get pushed.
Maybe.
So,
That's what they've done. Weren't all the saga films supposed to release in summer, and then they all got
Rogue One
pushed
definitely
until...
because of all that nonsense.
Yeah,
That wasn't really nonsense to begin with, but all the reshoot stuff.
correct.
And then Force Awakens, that was always
It was
December,
supposed to
wasn't
be in
it?
the summer.
Was it? I thought
Yeah,
that was always
I think it was
December.
supposed to be in May, and then it got pushed to December.
Oh, okay. Well, then every movie so
It's-
far has been
pretty much.
all 2.
Yeah.
Last Jedi wasn't. That was always December,
I
right?
think so. Yeah.
Like they announced it and it was just December.
I think so. Basically, because of when Force Awakens came out, basically just giving it 2 years from that point.
Yes.
So Han Solo's been filming. There's photos of some sweet hover cars and stuff going on. There's some video, but other than that, that's about all we have from that movie. Not really a lot going on there.
I guess that's why. Maybe that's why it doesn't seem real. I mean, there's been cast announcements and like Woody Harrelson was talking about his character a little bit. And just little things like that. But and Phil and Chris, I always get their last names mixed up. But like they did a Force for Change video from the set.
Yes.
And they've been tweeting some things, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem.
We don't really have anything. So we know there's a
Are
Han
you
Solo
looking
movie.
forward to this movie?
That's what I was just about to say. So we don't we know even the Force Awakens coming out, like we knew going into it from either small announcements or other things, like, okay, we know there's Finn, we know there's
basic plot.
Rey, we know there's an awakening in the Force. We knew kind of so we knew there was we had those general ideas. No, but there was some hint at the plot.
We know there's at least one rogue.
this is good. But we had a sense of where it was going, or like what the plot was going to be about. So far, the plot of this is Han Solo. Like, that's all we have to go on as far as story goes. I mean, I guess we know that Chewbacca is in it. Whether it'll be whether their introduction will be part of it, or if that'll be like a just hinted at. Like, we don't know what part of his life does this surround. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know at what point this is, other than that he is younger.
How much it's gonna jump around?
And there's Lando. Yeah, is it gonna jump around between parts of his, like, different parts of his life?
This like a compressed, right? Or is this like a compressed? I don't know, like the last year, like just a slice of a year out of his life or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know a year. I don't know why I chose that.
I'm assuming
like a small amount.
I'm assuming
time.
It's the start of him becoming a smuggler, and whatever happened before that, if he was part of the Empire, like he was in the EU, or
I don't know.
Meeting Chewbacca, Lando, all of that. We don't know what
was his being
we're getting into.
Was his being at the Academy, was that part of the EU, or was that something in I guess that wouldn't have been in
the EU.
That wouldn't have been a new canon. Right?
Yeah, it was only in the EU. So we don't know what his story is now. So the only thing we have to go off of for this film is, okay, I guess we're going to get what his story is. But I don't know. I'm excited there's a Han Solo film.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'm excited about the film yet. Like, I'm not like,
it's
coming, I want to see it. Like,
I think I feel the same way, yeah.
I will go see it, obviously, and I'm excited that it is happening, but I have nothing to be excited about actually seeing it. I don't know. I don't have that feeling yet. But of course, we haven't seen anything. We don't have any trailers. We don't have any teasers. We have no ideas about what we're going into. Like, we don't have any excitement of, like, oh, I can't wait to see that happen.
Yeah.
Which I assume we'll get at the beginning of the year.
Well, yeah, we'll probably get more details about that. Sure. About stuff to expect. But I mean, we've got moments, like vague moments, like, oh, him getting the Falcon and
little stuff that we know or we assume is happening. Right?
Yeah, I would assume him meeting Chewie is going to be in there. That has to be in there, right? Like, they're not going to just start up with their relationship already there.
I would assume so. I think that's important.
Well, I don't know. Which is better in your mind? Is it him meeting Chewie for the first time and I guess rescuing him, if they're still gonna do that, or them like already kind of establishing or having already established their relationship and they have that dynamic going already?
Yeah. So I don't know how they would.
What's more interesting?
How they would build it into the story, because you would have to almost have like a flashback, flash forward type of thing to show him rescuing Chewie, I would think. Unless he didn't. I mean, so he's what, in his early 20s, right?
Han? Yeah.
In this film.
Yeah. He's got
in A New Hope, he's in his late 20s, early 30s, right? Early 30s.
Yeah, he's supposed to be kind of the older, wizened.
Yes.
Not wizened, but
older.
Worldly.
He's the older one, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the trilogy, like, he and Chewie had been together for a long time, longer than just 10, 12 years, right? I would assume.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Yeah, so, like,
they have that dynamic of them
I would think
having been together
his
for a
age
while.
of being like early 20s in this film, I would personally think he would have met Chewie before that. But maybe not.
Wait, say that again? Before what?
So if he's in his early 20s in this Han Solo film,
yeah,
I would think he would have met Chewie before that.
Really? You think so?
Maybe. I don't know. 10 years seems... I mean, 10 years is a long time.
It's a good amount of time.
I guess if you're smugglers and you're always on the one ship together for 10 years, I guess you become
you're getting
that
into
close.
Crazy hijinks together. Crazy hijinks. Chewie hijinks.
It's just like the Nick at Night Han Solo show.
Everything is resolved in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I still want a Star Wars sitcom. Just a really cheesy one. Like I said, I want Star Wars Cheers.
Do you think we could ever have a cheesy Star Wars thing?
Can we ever have a Star Wars comedy?
We've talked about this.
I know we have.
I think we could have a Star Wars comedy, but would it be? Man, I don't know. That's really
it would be really hard to pull
I know
off.
we've talked about this.
Yeah. It
But
always comes
it's
back
still
up to me. I
hard
always
to-
want I want a Star Wars sanctioned comedy, or I don't know if they could do it.
Like something that doesn't
Would there be a
advance.
TV show that isn't a action or a drama?
Right. Something that doesn't advance canon. Because those
Yeah.
kind of shows, action shows or whatever,
Yeah.
there'd be
They play into
be
something.
fan service and things are in storylines that would tie into canon. But with a comedy, it
You
could never
couldn't.
do
No.
that, right? If it doesn't take itself seriously.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would just have to
It
be
would be
something
really-
that happened. It would have to be just this
really
non-important people just in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like friends of Star Wars. Like it would just be these people in a place that is Star Wars. And all the stuff that they do, it happens.
Right.
Yeah, like it couldn't be anything important.
You can never have, like on the Muppet Show when Mark Hamill showed up, and then you can never have moments like that where it's like, oh no,
Wait, so he was there at that time, and then
Han Solo's coming in, or whatever. Max Rebo. I don't know.
sorry,
Pull
I
obscure
got sidetracked on my Star Wars
Anyway.
sitcom fantasy again.
What are we talking about?
I assume I don't
Oh,
know
Han
if
Solo
Han
film.
had met Chewbacca earlier,
Yeah.
or late, earlier than his early 20s.
I guess we'll find out.
We will. So it's that whole thing of like, will he have already met Chewie, or will he meet him during the course of the film?
Yeah.
I assume he'll get the Falcon. I'm almost like 100% he'll get the Falcon in the film. That is the thing we will
Yes.
see happen.
Well,
That's it.
haven't they already confirmed that game where he wins the Falcon
Yeah,
is
I
going to
think
be
so.
in it?
Yeah, him against Lando.
Yeah. The Sabak.
Yeah. So
How do you pronounce that? Is it
I always called it Sabak,
Sabak?
but yeah,
I guess because there's two A's.
Sabak maybe.
Sabak.
Everyone just pronounces it how they
Sabak.
want, I think. Sure. That's you have to scream it like that, like an old lady asking for cigarettes.
I like the Sabak.
Sure.
It's like the back, the bottom of your throat.
It has to hurt a little.
Sabak.
Yeah. If there's not a little blood after, then you're not doing it right.
It's like you squeeze the goose. Sabak.
Yeah.
Sabak.
That's exactly what's happening. You're choking a goose. So I think that is the only thing happening with Han Solo. Other than filming, we don't know what's going on.
Squeezing geese.
Squeezing geese. That's our
That's our other
that's our
podcast.
other podcast. Squeezing geese.
I really want to make that now. Squeezing geese. Hey, welcome back to Squeezing Geese with Tyler and Michael.
Would it be like a nature show? I'm not sure what.
We're here squeezing a goose.
We got a new goose in here this week. Tell us your name. Oh, thank you.
Hey, we're back, episode 62.
Here goes a
Squeezing
light
geese.
squeeze. Coming up at the end of the hour, we're gonna give it a hard squeeze. Stay tuned. It's just the same sound every time, no matter what. Oh.
Anyway, squeezing geese.
What have we done?
It'll show up.
Nope.
No?
We'll not see.
Can't have a squeezing geese episode? Come on.
Sure, why not? So Pablo Hidalgo was at the Comic-Con of Chile.
Oh, what?
A Comic-Con? Chile?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to hype it. Come on. Gotta pick the energy up.
He had a panel where he talked for 30 minutes and then answered some questions and stuff like
what?
that.
What?
Oh my gosh! But of course, it was in Chile, so there was a translator. So take some of this with a grain of salt, with confusion with translations.
Ugh, other countries.
Come on, just learn America. Why don't you just learn to speak American, as they say?
That's our actual philosophy now, isn't it?
Well,
Those are actual laws going into place,
some
aren't they?
people's actual philosophies and laws. Anyways, Pablo was at the Comic-Con of Chile.
You don't want to get into politics, Tyler?
Not
No?
at this time.
We agree on politics.
Maybe when
but
it's better and not constantly on fire. So he did mention that Captain Phasma, speaking of Captain Phasma, if you have not seen the Vanity Fair photo shoot for The Last Jedi,
Oh,
go
man,
online
yes.
and do a Google search for Vanity Fair The Last Jedi. There are some amazing pictures of the
Yeah.
cast and the sets.
Really
and
good.
It's some really cool photos.
Yeah.
But anyways, you see Phasma without a helmet on, which
And the caption under that picture was "These people in character."
that's what it said.
So-
So then Pablo, in this translated thing, which may not be correct totally, said that we will see the face of Captain Phasma in The Last Jedi, but the face from the photograph in which she appears next to Kylo Ren and General Hux does not represent her appearance in the movie. So maybe her hair might be different.
Or maybe we see her
Maybe
younger or
she's
something.
covered in burns. I don't know.
Burns.
Yeah,
Why burns?
she's burns.
Yeah, why burns?
There's a hot trash. She was thrown in some hot trash.
Oh, sweetie. Hot trash, sweetie. I don't know.
So I mean, I don't whatever that means. Maybe her hair is not as curly as it is in those photos. Who knows? But we will see Captain Phasma, not with the helmet on, and he confirmed that yes, Phasma is a woman. Because, duh.
Wasn't that?
I don't. Someone may have asked. So she's actually a chick? Yes.
Oh no! Damn.
Yes, dum dum.
Why is there a girl in the suit? She would be a woman.
Maybe it was a transgender person.
Why would they cast what's her face if it was gonna be
I don't know.
a guy? I mean, come on, people.
Who knows? And then he confirmed that those books were old Jedi books that you see in the Last Jedi trailer. Which
Books.
we
Okay.
assumed.
All right. Even the map? Did he confirm that?
He said that the books on the shelf were old Jedi books.
Oh, all right.
Luke's robotic hand is covered with a brown leather glove, so that is Luke's hand that's touching that book in the trailer.
Duh. I mean,
Yeah, just confirming things. So here's where it gets a little weirder. So Acto, the planet where the first is the planet where the first Jedi temple is located. So that.
Yeah.
Then he said, what we see in the photographs, those stone huts are actually the homes of the guardians who look after the Jedi temple on the island.
Yes.
But then there were conflicting reports about what he actually said at the panel in relation to this.
Mm-hmm.
The
word guardians,
in a
or
tweet, he says he doesn't recall mentioning that
Great.
directly. And some other people were saying, I don't remember it being worded that way. So it may have been the homes of the guardians of the first Jedi temple.
Well,
There may not be anyone still there. Again, I think some things got lost in translation with some of this.
but that
so you have to be
Vanity Fair
careful.
article said the same thing. Remember that?
Yes.
How
so
Luke
is
is
it
living-
past tense or present? Are there
pretty
actual
sure
guardians that aren't those animals we've talked about?
That's the Guardians,
They built huts, little bird creatures.
I assume, right?
That's some advanced bird creatures building huts.
Well, so the only thing that's confirmed them to be it's not even a confirmation.
I guess
The only
Is it-
thing that's mentioned birds is making Star Wars.
I guess so.
So is this a race of birds that live on the planet?
It's bird people. Bird person. No, it's those
Birdman?
It's those birds from Titan AE, those bat bird things that.
Oh, I never saw it. Sorry.
All right, stop the episode.
You know, I never
It's
saw
over.
AI either.
Damn it!
I did see
All right,
Treasure
so-
Island.
So we need to stop watching shitty movies every time we hang out
And
and watch some actual movies.
Actual good movies.
Titan AE is fantastic.
I did see or no. Oh shoot. What's the
Story.
animated Treasure Island movie in space?
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I
a
did
good
see
one.
that.
That's a great movie.
Wasn't that the same like Titan AE? Wasn't it like the same studio
Around about
or
the same
something?
time. Titan AE was one of those films where they had like
That was animated.
actual
right?
actors that did like well-known actors did the voices of the characters and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think like Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore was one of them.
Same
and-
thing with Treasure
Yeah.
Planet. Like Michael J. Fox did the main guys.
Anyways, Titan AE.
Or am I getting that confused with Atlantis?
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember that
might
movie?
be.
Oh,
If
now I have
if
to
anyone
look this
hasn't
up.
seen Titan AE,
It wasn't.
is
No, it wasn't Michael J. Fox.
awesome, and I love
Oh,
it.
Shoot, who was it? Hold on, I gotta do my.
Anyways, there's some bat.
No, it's time for
bird
IMDb.
type people.
It's IMDb time.
Oh no, not the segment. That's not a segment that Michael keeps
It's
forcing
not
upon
loading.
us.
Now it's time to look up everything that the main person in Treasure Planet has ever done.
Just this is what we did with what Billy Zane.
I don't remember how we got onto it.
I think we did this with Billy Zane.
We looked up everything
before.
that he was ever in.
Sure. Why not? What do we have, Michael?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That was the guy, the main guy.
Oh, really?
Michael J. Fox was in Atlantis. He played the main guy in Atlantis.
Got it.
But yeah, it was Joseph.
I don't need you to read Joseph Gordon-Levitt's IMDb credits.
Sure?
I'm pretty
Let's
sure
see.
I know.
What has he done? He was in Looper. He was in Dark Knight Rises.
50-50.
He was in
500 Days of Summer.
yes. The Muppets.
Third Rock from the Sun. Did you say that?
No. But yeah, he was in that.
Don
John. He was in Lincoln.
Oh, yeah.
He was Robert Lincoln. He was in G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra?
Oh, no.
Really?
Yes. No, he was Cobra.
No.
At the end, I'm pretty sure he was Cobra.
It says he was Rex / the Doctor.
He was that weird doctor dude that was with Cobra. That's right. He had a messed up face.
So who was Cobra?
Did he not turn into Cobra at the end?
Let's see.
I thought he turned into Cobra.
There's nothing in here that says
I try to forget
Cobra.
those movies. They're not good.
Well, it's called Cobra, so it's kind of hard to look for. Okay, there's a guy called Baron de Cobre. Is that
sure? Why
is
not?
that Cobra?
That sounds
Cobra Tech, Cobra Grunt. Let's go.
Cobra Grunt. All right, I am done with your IMDb shenanigans.
No, I'm not done yet.
There's more important Star Wars things to happen
I
here.
went 3 levels deep. Now I got to go back because I went all the way to G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Oh, no.
There's other things.
What else has he done?
Numbers. Do you remember that movie with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Isn't that Jim?
I don't remember
Oh,
him.
no, this is the TV series.
No, that was 23. That was the number 23 with Jim Carrey. That's what you're thinking of.
Numbers with a 3. Numb 3 years.
So pay
Numb-
attention,
no, it was
pay
Numb 3
attention,
years.
everyone. When we're trying to think of things that aren't Star Wars, we remember the names of them. It's just when it comes to Star Wars, do our
Brick.
brains.
He was in Brick,
Shut up.
connecting it back to Star Wars.
Ryan Johnson, the Last Jedi. Yeah. And then the notes from Pablo. Got it. All right, we're back.
Explode.
So I don't know if the Guardians are the bird people or other persons. So
yeah, that's what we're talking
we'll find
about.
out. And then he said, again, it could be lost in translation, but we should not trust the characters of Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro, Vice Admiral Holdo and DJ, respectively. Their appearances can deceive. Huh?
Well, DJ, he was already confirmed to be like a.
Yeah, Douche Joe. That's what we named him, right? Douchey Joe? What does DJ stand for?
Oh,
We came up with some names for him.
I don't remember what they were.
I think Douchey Joe is one of them.
Vice Admiral. That's interesting that we shouldn't trust them or her. Sorry.
But if you remember
Why?
in descriptions of some scenes that were shot, that it was like arguments with her from, I think, her and Leia getting into it, and her and Finn, right?
Getting into it?
Yeah, like fighting about stuff and how to handle things.
I said he was Dash Gendar,
Dash Jendar, that's right.
Douche Jenner, Dude Joe, Dixie Jix. It's Dixie Jix. Dag Jormer. And then you said Dick Johnson, and we stopped talking there.
So
Then I asked you what you're doing for Memorial Day.
and then we
Like
just
an hour
we
later.
just stopped.
Yeah.
We gave up.
That was it.
we
Dick
cleansed
Johnson.
cleansed ourselves of that conversation.
All right, can't get any worse than that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously DJ is just I think DJ is just some rando, right? He's not like an important character, right?
Well,
Is
why
he as
would they-
important as Max von Sydow in Force Awakens?
I agree. He's
Where
probably
he's like
that
around for
level.
10 minutes and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're this guy. See you later.
But why would they go out of their way to say, he's not named, but we call him DJ, and you'll see why? Why would they go
Darth-
as what?
Darth Joe.
Why wouldn't they just say, like, not even mention his name? You know, like he's
Yeah.
playing an unnamed character, or he's playing
He's playing Who Cares?
like his name can't be released right now, or you know, something
Sure.
like that.
And then Laura Dern, I think the trusting of her, I think we've discussed this a long time ago, but I don't think her vision is what Leia's vision is or what others is necessarily. I don't think she's in agreement with the way the Resistance should be led or acted.
Do you think she's with the Resistance, or was she with the Republic?
That's a conversation we had a very long time ago. When we first learned that she was in the film, that I
Really?
think she
Really?
may have been someone that was part of the Republic and was not a part of the Resistance, but now she is reluctantly a part of the Resistance because the Republic is no more.
I disagree. I don't remember having that conversation.
It was It was way back when we first learned that Laura
Okay.
Dern was in the film and she was playing this admiral person.
Yeah, we were just speculating, I guess.
Yeah.
But I disagree with that now because the Republic is not dead completely.
Like the whole system is gone.
Well,
Basically.
yeah, well, I think there's going to be scraps of it remaining.
Yes, but they all have
And
to
I
pull
think-
together now into this resistance group. They all have to pretty much come together.
I
would
bet
assume.
she was. Obviously, she's an official, but I bet she was an official with the
I mean,
Republic.
she's Vice Admiral Holdo, so was she? I assume she was already an admiral of the Republic Army, right?
Yeah,
Republic
or the Navy
The
or
Navy.
something. Yeah, I would imagine the Navy, and maybe she's not with the Resistance, but maybe they're.
They're having to work together.
Yeah, the Resistance is trying to pull together all these people that were kind
Pull
of
together all the
isolated.
pieces that got to
Yeah, that were
all
scattered
segregated.
when the Republic, when the Senate was destroyed.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's reluctantly with the Resistance
Yeah.
and doesn't necessarily agree with their
So
their
now-
actions or their plans or their reasons for doing whatever it is.
I wouldn't say
I don't think
she's
she agrees.
with the Resistance necessarily. Like that makes her sound
Well, she's
like
working
she's,
with them. Like she has
like
to.
she's in the ranks of the
Yeah.
Resistance. I don't think she's that.
Yeah, I would agree.
But anyway,
And then so this is one that really I think was lost in translation. Was he mentioned that Luke and Leia have a scene in The Last Jedi where they would meet. But then other people said they like met Pablo at the place and asked him about it, and he said more like they had moments together in the film, Force related maybe. So I don't know if they physically actually meet in the film.
that kind of sucks, man.
I hope they do,
Yeah, me too.
especially
Which
given
at
the
this point it's
circumstances.
too late to.
You can't undo that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
change
I hope they do. That would be nice.
man. That
But they at least
sucks. That
share
really
they at least
sucks.
share moments in the film.
Yeah,
So there will at least be, I think, some form of communication or talking or force
that's good.
seeing
Yeah.
each other or something.
Did you read in that Vanity Fair article? Mark Hamill was talking about his idea of how The Force Awakens should have ended, or how it should have gone.
He's
I
talked
guess.
about it. He's talked about it too much at this point. I think.
Well, but this was like this was a little different,
this one was a little more serious and not so like
right?
I told them there should have been this. Like Mark on a stage being Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was also more accepting of the original ending and how he realized, well, it was a hit, and
Yeah.
it's obviously very successful. And JJ,
He still doesn't. I still don't think he likes that it was done.
I think it's obvious he doesn't like it as much, but he's at least accepted it.
Yeah.
At this point, but he was saying part of the ending he thought was going to be Luke and Leia meeting up at some point before Han's death, and then them witnessing Han's death together, because in his mind that would make that scene more powerful, because they're really the only people who know Han well out
Yes.
of all this new cast and everything. I mean, you've got Chewie, obviously, who knows Han really
Yeah.
well, but he can't really communicate other than this is all Mark's ideas, right? He can't communicate other than what he did in the movie, which was just kind of a yell.
Yeah.
And then you've got two people there who've only known Han for, a few days, really.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, it would have made it more powerful, but there would have had to be so much else change to make that work and make sense that it wouldn't. I don't think you could have.
Yeah,
I don't think you could
as
have
a
physically
whole-
made that happen and made it make sense to the story.
Yes, I agree. I think as a whole, it would have been worse for the story.
Yeah.
But I do, especially now. I mean, I think it's kind of him reacting to Carrie's death in a little bit.
Like them having that last scene.
Yes, yeah. Like there's that.
Yeah.
It's not. No, not that it's closure, but it's kind of a way to acknowledge Han not being around anymore and bringing Luke and Leia together at the same time.
I'm assuming we'll have either a Force related moment or something in relation to Han's death in The Last Jedi.
But yeah. I hope
think.
so, because he really is right that it would have been super powerful. I think more powerful than what we had.
Yeah, but you couldn't have
originally.
Luke in the same location as Kylo and it not
No,
end
I
there.
agree.
Like,
Again,
it would
again,
kill the
as a
story.
whole, for
Yeah.
the story, for when you consider everything, it would have been worse. But speaking just from Han's death being a powerful moment, it would have been. I mean, that would have been super emotional to have Luke and Leia there to witness that.
It would have.
So
would have been a lot
and
harder to watch.
I guess the reason I say that is because I want that kind of moment in The Last Jedi. And I don't think we're going to get it from what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because there's no funeral, at least from what we've heard. There's no
so
big
all of our
gathering.
assumptions of there being a funeral just turned out to be what? Canto Bight, I think, at this point.
Yeah, right. Which is a casino. Which is some mission that I assume Finn and what's her name?
Finn and Rose and BB-8.
Yeah. So, So that it's... I mean, obviously, it's not out yet. We don't know, but it sounds like there's not going to be a funeral, and it sounds like we don't have that moment, and that sucks.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I would think, if not, there will be something, I'm assuming, in a book or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I think there would be some sort of closure with that somewhere.
Yeah, it's really the only place you can do it.
Yeah, I think so.
So that sucks.
Yeah. So as far as people saying things, that was all of Pablo, but Kathleen also mentioned when asked about the spinoffs, said that we haven't identified it yet, the next spinoff after Han Solo.
This is big.
But yes, in brackets, another spinoff is in development. We have a couple of things right now that we're circling, and we'll make a decision between the two pretty shortly. It's probably for 2020, and we will make a decision by June.
Wow.
So by June, as of recording this, June's tomorrow. So sometime in June, they will make a decision. Whether we'll hear about it anytime soon, probably not likely.
Do you think the thing that we'll hear is we've made a decision? Or do you think the thing we'll hear is...
Knowing them, they'll say we
here's
made
what
a
we're gonna
decision.
do.
We'll tell you when it's time.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking too.
So very specifically, there are two things
They've got two films in development. Do you really think they're going to pull focus away from those to announce another spinoff?
No, but they're deciding between two things. There are two definite things that they are deciding between.
I mean, when they make the announcement.
Oh, when they make the announcement.
Do you think they would really announce?
I don't think they're going to announce what it is.
What the decision is.
Until next year.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometime next year, next summer.
I think in the middle of
D23, maybe. I don't know.
You think so?
Something. I don't think
when
it would
is
be...
D23?
It's usually in the summer, I think.
Okay.
Is it every year or every other year?
So it'll be... Yeah, that I'm trying to... I don't know if it's either. I don't know.
I don't recall.
But anyway, I don't think they would pull focus away from the Han Solo movie for that. I don't know.
And then if Han Solo is only 5 months after The Last Jedi,
maybe they would. I don't know.
Do they even wait till after Han Solo comes out to say anything about it?
Yes, I think so.
You're gonna wait until after Han Solo's out next summer to make any announcement as to what
summer
it is.
2018, right?
Yeah.
And it's 2020.
Han comes out in what, May? Right?
Well, yeah, as long as it doesn't get pushed.
For right now, it's slated for May.
I wonder if it gets pushed if they'll make the announcement.
Probably.
I don't know. I really don't know.
But the big thing here is they're just basically deciding between two things.
Yeah.
So one of those has to be the Obi-Wan film, right? An Obi-Wan film.
Yes.
It has to be.
What can it be?
It has to be an
We're
Obi-Wan
focusing
film.
on the wrong thing here.
No.
Talk about the announcement.
There has to... So...
What is it?
They very specifically have two things. So it's been rumored for a long time that they were throwing around a Boba Fett film.
Yeah, that's been
rumored since like the beginning of the acquisition, wasn't it?
Yes. Ever since they were talking about spin-off movies.
And that could just
that was always
that
rumored.
could just be rumor ever since then of people wanting Boba Fett to return.
Probably, yeah.
But there's been very specific rumors regarding Obi-Wan. There's been a large outcry in the last year for an Obi-Wan film.
Ewan has come out and said that
he's come out and
he
said
wants to do
that
it.
There's been no meetings, no one's asked me, but I've always told them if they want to do it, I want to do it.
Yes.
And he said that like 5 times in interviews in like the last year.
Right. because he keeps getting asked about it.
Yes,
Because there's all this clamor.
Very recently, there was someone was going in for meetings to Lucasfilm, a writer. I forget who it was, but someone anonymously said that he was there to discuss an Obi-Wan project. So one of these has to be.
The writer was anonymous?
No, the person that said this guy is
That
in the
talked to the
Lucasfilm
writer?
office, and the guy who said that this guy is in the Lucasfilm offices, and he's here to talk about an Obi-Wan project.
So this is a person that's well known, I assume?
The anonymous person who said this, yeah, it was they didn't want to be named, basically.
Okay.
So someone that probably works for Lucasfilm or elsewhere that doesn't want to get fired, maybe.
Okay.
But anyways, so one of these has to be an Obi-Wan film with as much spotlight has been on it, right? One of these has to be an Obi-Wan film.
Yes. I think so.
What would be the other one?
Fett is an obvious choice.
Okay, so I love Boba Fett just as much as anyone else. Not everyone loves Boba Fett because he did shit all in the movies. If you think about it, he's the world's worst bounty hunter. He did a couple things and then fell in a hole.
You don't.
He's not great. He
if
sucks
you go strictly
in those
off
films.
that,
Yes, he sucks in the films. He's the world's worst bounty hunter. The only reason he was ever popular is because he looks badass.
Yes. And some really badass stories were written for him.
After the fact.
Yes.
After the fact. But if you just go off of the original films, he's the world's worst bounty hunter. He just looks really cool. Basically, he spent all his money on armor and then forgot to be a bounty hunter.
Do you think they would?
So for me, Boba Fett is awesome. And we have stories. We know he's Jango Fett's son and all this stuff. But what story is there really for us to know about Boba Fett? After
the trilogy?
So Boba is in Rebels, right?
Yeah.
So what story do we have? What film do we have that we need of Boba Fett? That's where I get hung up. Is I love Boba Fett and he's awesome, and I buy Boba Fett toys and memorabilia and things all the time. But
obviously,
because he's awesome. But what do we need from him anymore?
Obviously, after the Sarlacc pit, right? That would be the only interesting.
If that happens,
wouldn't it?
Well, we know his armor is still on Tatooine from the Aftermath books.
Yeah.
And it's acid marked.
True. That's true.
From the Sarlacc's stomach, I assume.
Yeah.
But it was gotten out of the Sarlacc either by him coming out or someone fishing it out.
Which no one would fish it out, I would imagine. I
was going down to the old Sarlacc hole fishing. back by the sun's down, Pa.
Watch out for them tentacles.
All right, Ma. But what do we need? I don't think we need a Boba Fett film. There's nothing I need from him right now.
That's pretty sacrilegious of you to say.
It is. But what do we need from Boba Fett? He's served his purpose, hasn't he?
As played out as him escaping the Sarlacc pit is, I want to see that. I want to see what happens after that. But I don't know what that story would be.
What does it have to do with anything? What does it matter?
I don't know. How could that be connected to
if we did get a Boba Fett film, that would be the first film that has nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's only 2.
And at some point, I assume at any point will we have a Star Wars film that has nothing to do with the rest of the Star Wars films?
Yes, because you're gonna run out of Skywalker saga eventually, right?
Yes.
And
so is there a point where it doesn't affect anything else? It's just hey, this takes place in Star Wars.
Yes.
Universe.
Yeah. A lot of the books have been like that.
But is that going to happen in a film anytime soon?
Soon? I mean, what's soon?
These two films. Is one of them Obi-Wan, which has everything to do with everything, or is one of them like here's Star Wars man he lives on this planet and he owns a bar, and his bar is going bankrupt, and he has to start.
It's called the Star Bar.
He has to sell his body in space. I don't know that.
He's got.
I'm not projecting.
On me? What?
Projecting
anything. Is saying me.
No.
You want me to sell my body in space?
No, I'm not projecting that. That's my story. But
he's got to play space chess until his legs get more
space juice
longer.
What?
Long legs. Isn't that a Star Wars thing?
Sure. At this point, it's too soon to have a Star Wars film that doesn't have to do with anything of the greater whole, right?
Yes. That's why I'm asking. Is it what's too soon? Is next 10 years?
Of these two films, is one of them Hook and Barjo, or is one of them Obi-Wan?
Yeah, no.
Like,
not that soon. Yeah, no, I agree. I think
like it's going to be Obi-Wan, or
down
it's
to
going to be
that-
like the Chewbacca story. I don't know. I don't know what else. What else would we have? What would be that other film that matters at this point?
Do you think there's a story in? Gee, I don't know. Because if you pick a
That's
character,
not one of the books that we've had.
if you pick a character from the new trilogy, that's too connected.
It can't be a direct saga character that's currently in the saga.
That's what I'm saying.
Obi-Wan's like in a time of a thing that already happened, and we're filling in that hole.
Yes.
What holes do we have to fill in, Michael?
Well, it's time to find out.
Door number
Here
one.
on Filling Holes with Tyler and Michael. Hey, there's a hole.
It's filling holes, but it's Phil, Phil, then just N apostrophe and then holes. So it's Phil and holes. I don't know what that show is, but that's what I heard when you said that. Was filling holes.
Hi, I'm Fill in Holes.
I'm Phil. Here's my holes.
Fill in holes. In is his
In like in apostrophe.
yeah. In no. In like in is like his middle name is Nate or something.
Oh, sure.
Fill in holes.
Why not? So what holes?
My name's Phil. Here's my hole.
This has been filling holes.
Sirens.
Sure. So what stories do we
We
have?
have a lot of good show ideas.
Copyright, trademark, filling holes.
I forget what the first one was, though. What was the first one?
The space bar guy that
No,
starts
the one
selling
before
his
that.
body.
That's two.
Okay.
There's one before that.
Is it one of our sitcoms?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a good one.
Probably.
See, it's like a black hole. I can't even remember what happened
The things are said.
20 minutes ago.
30 seconds later, gone forever. Only they're saved on the internet, and I'll never listen to them.
It's bad.
So we have Obi-Wan. That's a very important story of filling in this time of what we don't know what happened during that time. We have bits and pieces of it from the Star Wars comic of like the diary basically of Obi-Wan, of him protecting Luke on Tatooine, unbeknownst to Luke,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
So what else is there that's that big? Or I don't think there's anything that big at this point that I can think of. But what's of that caliber of like, here's this character, here's this time, or here's this place. The only other thing I can think of
Vader
is
movie?
Old Republic or a Vader movie.
A Vader movie. I could see that, definitely.
Like,
Although there's been a lot of Vader comics. and
he
stuff.
was in Tarkin.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so there's a lot of Vader stuff filling in some of that timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing of that grandeur would be Old Republic, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But at this point, I
think that's too deep
I
of a
don't think
cut.
I think it's
Yeah.
too deep. We're not ready for it yet. I mean, we are, but
Well,
the world is not ready for that yet.
let's say
Like that's like when you
yeah.
get to like Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Like, all
It's
right,
not
we've done
like-
our 12 movies. What else can we
Yeah,
milk?
that's
Here's
true.
an Old Republic film.
That's true.
Guess what? We're making 4 of them because the first Fantastic Beast was just that good. Right? Like that's like after the fact. Like, all right, all of the Star Wars saga is now done.
the audience.
We're still making Star Wars films, so here's an Old Republic film.
The audience that's trying to be reached is like,
We know those films.
your coworker that saw Return of the Jedi 15 years ago. Like
they're
that
making sure to
kinda-
be able to appeal to those people,
Yes.
while still appealing to the fans.
Yeah, so an Old
So
Republic
Obi-Wan
movie,
fits in. Old Republic does not.
No.
So what else do we have? We're getting a Han film, so that'll fill in the Chewbacca Han Solo story.
Clone Wars, no.
We
'cause
have
there was
we
the
have plenty of
show.
Clone stuff, Clone Wars stuff. We have Rebels that fills in nothing. We have books that we've got Vader
Rebels
stories.
Makes a hole in all of our hearts.
Rebels is the hole that needs to be filled in. Just a movie that just overwrites anything that happened in Rebels.
Like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill.
Would there be a
Just
live action Rebels
bury it
movie?
alive. What?
Would there be a live action Rebels movie?
No, don't even think about that. No, it's awful.
I have to say these things.
That's
as much as they hurt me, I have to say them.
It hurts me too.
Would it be between an Obi-Wan film and a Rebels film?
That's such an awful thought.
But could that be a thing?
No. I will not let it be a thing until it's actually a thing, and then this podcast will
and then
be in
I'll catch up
question.
on Rebels and I'll go see it. Take that, Lucasfilm.
My allegiance to this podcast will be in question.
I can't think of anything that's not Obi-Wan. Like that has to be the thing that happens, right?
It has to be. If they're bringing in people, well, yeah, okay. So
what else would there be as big as an Obi-Wan film? And it would if they chose that, it would have to be something more fleshed out or more important than an Obi-Wan film.
I think more important, because if these rumors are correct, they've already been kind of thinking about an Obi-Wan film. So that means this second idea has to be something that's like
as big.
Big. Yeah. Like big enough to possibly steal the focus from something they've already been working on.
Is it just like it's another Rogue One, but it's about the Bothans that died getting the second Death Star plans?
It's a terrible
Rogue 2.
We get to see a Bothan for the first time.
That's true. That's
We've never
something.
seen a
That's
Bothan
something
before.
Pablo said on Twitter as well.
Was it?
Was regarding Bothans, because there's a alien in one of the Vanity Fair shots that looks like a hairless Bothan, basically, from the images we've had from the EU.
Oh, that big.
And Pablo said we've never seen a Bothan in live action or canon anything.
Yeah.
So if we were to see a Bothan, it would be something created by the art department and story group.
Okay.
So he was basically not confirming if that was or was not a Bothan, but he was saying like the first time we're going to see a Bothan is not going to be in a cartoon or something like that. Like it'd be something created by the art. Like it'd be something created by the art department.
Why did he say that in response to people pointing out there
was just a lot of talk
picture.
of Bothans in that photo. It was like, is this the first time we've seen a Bothan? And he didn't confirm if that was a Bothan or not. But he was saying if we ever see a Bothan.
I thought it was pretty clear that that's not a Bothan.
I think so too, because it's not as hairy as what we've known Bothans to be.
And aren't Bothans
smaller?
Yeah,
that guy was pretty big.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it wasn't a confirmation or denial. It was just saying if we do see a Bothan, it will, because we've not seen one before, it will be something created by the art department.
Yeah.
Anyways, just a side note on Bothans in general. I don't think we'll get a Rogue 2 about the many Bothans that died getting the second Death Star plans.
Are there still people that think
yes.
we're the Bothans in Rogue One?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is that still
I
a
think
thing?
that's still a thing. People are still confused why there's not Bothans in Rogue One.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad.
It is sad. All right, we've talked a lot about a lot of things, and none of them were Thrawn that we said we were going to spend about half this episode talking about, and we're almost an hour in.
No good.
So buckle in. It's Thrawn time.
Are we really gonna?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it.
Oh no.
Well, while you're gathering your Thrawn thoughts, gather your thoughts. There was also a leak of a Lego set. The pictures have been stripped from the internet. I cannot find them anymore. But it was a Last Jedi Lego set of a Star Destroyer and some other things. There was a shot of the new large guerrilla walkers, which are called First Order Heavy Assault Walkers from the Lego box. There are black BB-8s. There are First Order BB-8 droids that are black and have like red vents on the side, and they look super cool.
That's pretty cool.
Poe Dameron is called Captain Poe Dameron, so he's been promoted. Almost said upgraded, but that's something that happens to robots and computers. So he's been promoted, I guess, since his actions in the Force Awakens. And we have a Snoke minifigure who still has a jacked up head, but is wearing the rumored gold robes that Making Star Wars had heard about. So that is confirmed that Snoke has gold robes on. So he is, like we discussed before, he has much more of an opulence than Palpatine, I guess. He's a little flashier than Palpatine was.
Which is interesting
because it's very interesting. I don't understand what his deal is.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's exactly what's going on with this guy.
I don't understand. So yeah, that was the only other thing that's really been leaked since our last episode.
It's an interesting dimension to I don't know, bad guys in the because we've never
Not
had
being
that
the
before.
dark, menacing,
Yeah.
evil, but more like I'm evil.
Well, we don't know where he's like
I don't- is he not the is he not the robot from
It's the
from-
gold member of
No, is he not the
Star Wars
the
villains.
robot from Futurama? The hedonism bot.
Hedonism bot.
Is he hedonism bot? The Force and the Sith are evil.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what he sounds like when he's not a giant hologram. Oh, Kylo.
Luke Skywalker.
That's what he says when they
Use
first
your
confront each other.
force on me, Luke. Ooh. Anyway.
So that was the length of a normal episode.
Yes.
So thank you for listening to that part.
Do we really want to get into it? Because
Do we want to go extra long or just talk about Thrawn?
I want to go extra long.
You want to go extra
We
long?
can condense it a little bit.
Michael likes to go extra long.
That's the only way to go.
All right. If you don't care about Thrawn, stop listening here. The rest of the episode will be talking about the Thrawn novel. If you haven't read it, read it because it's amazing.
Yes.
Timothy Zahn is an amazing, fantastic writer,
Yes.
and it's a really, really good novel.
Yes.
Thrawn book, go.
I don't know where to start. I just finished it. I was literally reading the last page
Literally finished it when you got here.
as I got here.
It's so good. There's so many. I did not expect so many little tidbits of like what the hell is happening here now, sir.
Well, I don't understand. What do you mean?
So during the entire book, we again, if you've not read Thrawn, you don't want to be spoiled, leave now. In the beginning of the book, Thrawn appears because he's been exiled from the Chiss. They exiled him because of something he did.
Yes.
That was never said. Near the very end of the book, it's revealed that his exile was faked to get him
Faked by the Chiss.
as a plan to get him picked up, for him to do everything he did in the book. Getting bumped all the way up to Admiral was the plan from the start.
No.
Maybe not that far, to get close and find out what's happening over here
With the Empire.
With the
Yes.
Empire.
Yes.
Basically, he's here. He was on a recon mission to find out about the Empire, and in doing so, he made his way all the way up to Grand Admiral
Grand Admiral.
in the Empire.
Which, by the way, I'll say real quick, him getting his suit, I thought that was kind of a cool
Yeah,
moment when it
getting
described
the white suit.
the Thrawn that we all know.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Because I thought originally that when it was talking about the ISB and how they do wear white suits, I thought somehow, he's going to end up at the ISB because he's friends with this colonel there, Colonel Yularen, I think his name was. He's friends there, so maybe that's how he got his white suit. He'll end up at the ISB as a something or other. But then more I thought about it, his strengths are obviously in military strategy and
Tactics
stuff, and that's not the
strategy and all
ISB. So yeah, so that was a cool moment to see,
Yeah.
or to read, when he got that. But yeah, his exile was faked. The entire the Chiss ascendancy is what they called it. I don't know if
That's their government or their leading. That's their leading body.
I assume that's their
Kind of like their Senate.
their empire.
Yeah, their empire, their Senate type thing. Well, maybe not even Senate.
Maybe.
Senate's where everyone has a say.
Yeah.
The ascendancy just sounds more like their
Like a collective.
collective of leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were all in on it. They sent him to get exiled, or to pretend he got exiled, to get picked up by the Empire in order to observe them under the guise of helping the Emperor learn the unknown regions, or learn hyperspace routes.
Learn how to reach the unknown regions, because getting out of this
galaxy.
Because, and that's what happened in Aftermath, is at the end of the last Aftermath book, they find they leave, they get through. It's because the path out is very dangerous, and there's an exact route you have to take, basically, to be able to get out.
Right.
And Thrawn helped the Emperor with the calculations and the way to do that.
Yes.
And that was, I guess, his big ploy. And of course, we had the snippet before the book came out that he also touts there's a greater threat, and the Emperor seems interested in that.
Okay.
And he seems to know. He seems to already be aware, maybe, that there's a greater threat.
That was early on in the book that excerpt ended up coming from.
Yeah.
So later on, he meets up with the Emperor again. Let me pull up my.
This is like the very end, right?
Keep talking. I want to pull up my notes here.
I believe this is. I believe what you're talking about is like maybe the last chapter when he's talking to the Emperor about.
So there's two places where this comes up. In the middle of the book, there's this character called Night Swan, who's kind of this tactician that Thrawn keeps running into in various encounters, and it kind of works out through the book that Night Swan he's kind of targeting Thrawn in a way with some of these encounters. Like he's purposely baiting Thrawn to show up so they can have these encounters and not really fight each other directly, but
they both respect each other.
You end up finding that out. Yeah. But early on it's more of a
toying with
you can tell this guy knows what he's doing.
He's just as good as Thrawn.
Yes.
Almost.
He's smart. He's patient. And
he's basically
kind of this unknown.
He basically helps resistance groups.
Yes.
For the most part.
Which is, that's kind of something you find out too. But anyway, they eventually meet up towards the end of the book, and they have this conversation, just kind of revealing, there's a bunch of exposition revealing Thrawn's plans and what Night Swan was trying to do and who he's affiliated with and all that stuff. In that conversation, Thrawn says, "There are evil things in this galaxy, Night Swan, far more evil than the Empire and far more dangerous to all living beings. Mm-hmm. We know of some, we being the Chiss, know of some, while others, we've only heard rumors. We needed to know whether the Empire that was rising from the ashes of the Clone War could be an ally against them." So, and then towards the end, Thrawn finds out about the Death Star, which that was a cool moment.
He worked out all this stuff. The Dunium, that's the item that's used to make the metal that they make their ships with. The hull of their ships with. There's a ton of it like going off the books and getting bought, and the prices are skyrocketing, and he's trying to figure out where it's going.
Right.
And
that was a big
on his
thread.
own figured out that the Death Star is being built and almost where it was being built.
Yes. That was a big threat. He dropped some hints in there that I know, like I have a really good guess at where the main building location is. Yeah. Which that was kind of cool. He said there's a main building location and then kind of a secondary location that some items are being transferred to, some
Which
supplies.
would be that planet that Tarkin was on, right? Overseeing the building of the Death Star.
Maybe I took it to mean where the super laser was being tested, like with Galen's.
That's true.
On damn it, what planet?
Ariadu.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Which that was mentioned in there, wasn't it? Was that the planet that Tarkin was on?
I don't.
Because that was in the Outer Rim somewhere, wasn't it? I guess
recall.
Geonosis was too. Anyway, so many rabbit trails. Going back real quick.
He's basically here to try to figure out if the Empire is what the Chiss needs it to be to help fight this greater force.
Yeah.
But he also finds out about this Death Star, which he doesn't really agree with ruling with an iron fist like that, with ruling with fear.
Yeah.
He agrees in doing things, and that's the whole book is him doing things that the outcome is good for all sides, and that's not what the Empire's about.
Well, yeah, to back up a little bit, there's this force which is coming up in several
threat that we've heard in all these
from
novels.
the unknown regions that we've heard in several places in canon now that we just can't figure out
Aftermath,
what it is.
Like every book, Advisor Tashu was talking about this greater power that the Empire had sent people into the unknown regions to research.
Which maybe was Thrawn the one that was he the first one to warn them about this, and that's why the Empire knows about it,
and that's why they know about it in Aftermath.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or
the Emperor had already sensed it, but didn't really worry about it until Thrawn.
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe the Emperor has sensed it.
Maybe he wasn't worried until Thrawn came about. I don't know.
Anyway,
so there's all these places. This is like this hint of there's this greater force. There's this bigger evil in the unknown regions or past the known galaxy.
And there's a point in the book where Thrawn, basically explains that his allegiance is always going to be to the Chiss.
Yes.
And the only reason he is kind of embedding himself in the Empire is because, like you were saying, he's trying to enlist the Empire's help to defeat this force, but only the way I took it from from what was in the book was he's trying to basically get the Empire at its full strength to meet up with this unknown evil.
He's trying to better the Empire for his own people's good.
Yes, so he wants the Empire to find and fight this unknown evil, weaken the unknown evil to the point where the Chiss have a better chance of controlling it or defeating it.
Yes,
whatever it is. I don't know.
And
what
he
it
even
is.
mentions at one point, he's here to see if the Empire is what's rising is what needs to be, and whether it's and he said something about the leader, whether it's the Emperor or someone else.
Yes, because he
makes
says
a point to say, it doesn't have to basically it doesn't have to be the Emperor that's in charge or someone else.
He says at one point the Emperor's time as a leader is limited.
Yes.
So whoever succeeds him.
So if it's not him, it's making sure the person who comes after him is the one that
succeeds.
Yeah.
Whoever comes after him.
Yeah. He basically says, if it's not the Emperor, I'm here. We want to make sure that whoever takes his place is the one that it needs to be.
Yes.
Basically.
But
so he's
basically
here to mold
Thrawn
the Empire to be
advise.
if the Emperor won't listen, we'll just wait till he's gone and put this other person in place of our own accord through our brilliance, and then use them. All
of this, both the Emperor, which going real quick back to the Death Star, the Emperor, well, there's so many rabbit trails.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
Anyway, the Emperor and Thrawn, it seems like, did not see the success of the rebellion coming or any of that.
So far, no.
Because the way everybody's talking,
the Empire's here and it's here to stay.
Yes.
And we're just here to make sure.
Yeah, the
Empire's here to make sure the Empire's
going to be around forever. Like Thrawn said in a couple places, it's the best option, even though they are tyrannical.
For right now.
It's the best option because it's the most efficient, and it's better than the chaos of like the Clone War.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of them saw the rebellion coming.
So far.
So for him to say, we'll just wait until the Emperor, gives up his power or whatever.
Yeah.
It's, obviously that never happened. But so the Death Star rabbit trail real quick. I thought the way the project was treated in the book, the way the Death Star project kept coming up, and the way it seemed to be treated within the Empire, how extremely secretive it was, and not even Thrawn knew about it. He had to kind of figure it out himself.
Yeah.
Even though the Empire's like taking over all these mines and stripping planets,
the slave labor.
Yeah,
they were transporting. There's one point there's like a slave ship that was basically off limits, but Thrawn, because they had to save this ship that was in distress, but like no one would let Thrawn into the barracks.
Into what it was, or
and they found out that it was Wookiee barracks basically,
from
and
Kashyyyk.
it was Wookiee. It was a Wookiee slave transport that was probably going to the Death Star,
right,
for building. Yeah,
is that why the Wookiees were enslaved? Do you know? Do you know why Kashyyyk was?
Why it was targeted?
Enslaved? Yeah.
I mean, their strength and power was. I mean, even in Aftermath, they're used as slaves. Just they were targeted. They've been targeted for a long time as slave laborers, just because of their power, their size, their strength, their, I guess, endurance.
That's something I've always wondered. I mean, that makes sense.
So it's like Wookiees and Geonosians, basically, right?
Why? Yeah. Why were there any other races that were just like entire races that were enslaved?
I'm sure. I mean, the only ones canonical canon, the only ones in canon that have really been mentioned are the Geonosians in Aftermath.
Yeah.
Helping out, and
how they were like sterilized,
basically,
weren't they?
And how Poggle was involved after the fact.
Yeah.
And kept trying to get away. And then the Wookiees now. That's really the only ones I think that have been.
I wonder if there are any other races. Anyway. How the Death Star project was treated in this book, and how, how we kind of saw a little bit more of that in Rogue One.
Yeah. How it was
it
very secret
seemed-
except for like a small group of people.
Yes. It seemed less significant, I think, than I have really seen it in my own mind before. Like in just seeing the original trilogy,
Yeah.
it seemed like the Death Star was the thing. It was
Yes.
like it was the Empire. It was, and it was kind of that flagship. Obviously, it was the
Yeah.
very public face of the Empire.
Yeah, once it was built, yeah.
It was the face of fear. That's what it was intended to be. But yeah, the way it was treated, like this book did a really great job of showing you the vastness of the Empire and how,
Yes.
like the whole Rebels show, all of the things that they do in that show, according to this book, are just like these little tiny events
Like little flies.
that
It's just like
ultimately
little
don't
things.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Empire is so big and so there's so many ships, so many people that the Death Star was able to be a secret just thing
Yeah.
that even though tons and tons of resources and people went into it to build it, it was still just kind of this thing over here
Mhm.
that according to Rogue One, Vader didn't really believe in.
Yep.
Tarkin didn't fully believe in it. The Emperor, I think, kind of foresaw what it could be, but it was
Yeah.
just kind of an option for him, not like the goal.
And
I
even
don't
Thrawn knows what they're doing and he doesn't like it,
Yeah.
but it didn't seem to really affect his plan.
That it existed, you mean?
Yeah. Like he's worried about it. Like he's worried by it, by
Yeah.
the fact that they're doing that.
Yeah, it says at the end of the book that he's worried that the Emperor's going to use it against the Chiss.
Yeah.
Once it's built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love that about the book is all the perspective of it being vast and everything. It then all just comes back to Thrawn and his view of it all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like the Death Star is a giant thing, but to Thrawn, it's just a problem to figure out.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not, oh my God, the Death Star. It's just like, all right, so that's another variable in this equation of what I'm trying to figure out how to make this empire
That's true.
do what my people need.
Maybe that added to that feeling that I got of it being just kind of more of an option for
Yeah.
the Empire in a way than a end game. You know?
Yes, because and everything else, it was like, all right, once we build the Death Star, that's all we need. We've got the Death Star, that's everything now.
Yeah.
Whereas in Thrawn, like you said, it was just like, all right, they're making this thing, or in stuff that we've gotten, it's like, all right, we're making this other thing, and it could be something, and
Yeah. And they
we're
end up
almost on board.
They end
Yeah.
up figuring out, once its power is demonstrated, like,
Yes.
okay, this is going to be the tool of fear that the Emperor wanted. And
Yes.
Tarkin even eventually sees that, and is super confident in it in A New Hope when it's being attacked.
Yeah,
Like, of course we're going to survive. What are you thinking?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I just like that perspective of, so the Death Star gets destroyed in A New Hope, but I mean, it's still
still
the
have the
Empire
entire
you're dealing
empire.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And they were already working on a second one, or
right. Very soon after. Yeah.
yeah, that is interesting. And I think that the biggest thing with Thrawn and everything that happened in the novel is there is that continued, like we said, there's that continued hint at there's something else going on
Yeah.
that the Chiss are worried about. The
Yeah.
Emperor may have known about it already, but not really been worried about it until now. And it's been hinted at too much now.
Yeah.
So what, like,
What
too
the
much,
heck
like, not
is
too
it?
much, like, oh, they're mentioning it all the time. Like, it's been mentioned too much to, like, what is this leading to?
Yeah.
At what point are we going to find out what this thing is that everything keeps pointing to?
It's still very open ended. Like it could
Is it,
end up
it
being.
doesn't have anything to do with Snoke or the First Order. And I'm starting to think it doesn't.
Does it have something to do with Snoke at least? Not the First Order,
Because
because
Snoke's an alien, and he's an alien that we don't know what he is yet, right?
True.
So,
So
maybe,
he could be any from anywhere.
Maybe it has to do with Snoke. That's
That's
they're just building it up so much. Like, at this point, is it just like a cool, extra, huge deal that's going to happen in the books, like we used to have in the EU? These huge events,
that spanned, a bunch
these huge
of
events, but it
properties,
really,
yeah.
in the end, the outcome of it didn't affect where we are now with Snoke and
Possibly.
The Last Jedi. Which I think would be cool to finally have, like, because we've had these novels that are filling in holes, and here's like the story of Leia and Bloodline, and finding out about the start of the First Order. But are we gonna get back to that point of like the EU, or like here's this huge event that happened that we just came up with, and
which
I've said perfectly.
I've said this before. That was the Yuzon Vong in the EU.
Yeah.
But I don't really want that again. I mean, whatever,
and we found out recently that Zahn has already pitched like 2 sequels to Thrawn.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those have anything to do with what it's leading towards, but the fact that it's been mentioned in multiple authors' books means it's something coming from the story group.
Yeah.
That they're like, all right, hint at this. And now they've hinted at even more with Thrawn. They're like, all right, like build this in even more.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like purpose of Thrawn's purpose to be there is because of this thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Or he was at very
least.
No
books have been announced for the path to the Last Jedi because those are all focused on the Last Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when are what?
At the very least, Thrawn is there to warn them. He was like his job was to set this, like to make everybody aware of this threat.
So at some point we have to have a novel or book, something that's focusing on the start of this event.
Yeah.
I would assume novel, and not like it's not going to be something that happens in the comic books or
right.
I think it would be really. I mean, this is the first time I've thought about it. It would be really interesting if we have a huge like EU scale event that happens in the novels that isn't a movie thing. Where it's like, you people that read the EU, you people involved in the EU books, like of this huge thing that happened in the Star Wars universe that's not part of the movies that you are all fans of and love, and you have this whole story that connects all these other things. But it's just a fan. It's a fan thing. And I loved those when I was a kid and when I read the novels and it's like reading the Thrawn trilogy. I was like, there was this whole thing happened with Luke and Leia and Thrawn, and there was this huge thing, and I know this story, and I can tell other people, well, you know what happened after the movies? This huge thing happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Now will there be that event of a novel where it's like, holy shit, before New Hope, there was this huge war that took place that you don't even know about because it wasn't in a movie. And it's go read these books. These are the best books. Here's this stack of books. Go read these, and you'll know what you need to know about this huge thing that happened in Star Wars.
Yeah,
because I had that feeling as a kid, and now that I'm starting to think about it, that would be super exciting to be like, holy shit, there's this huge event. There's this thing that happened, and unless you're reading these books, you would never know. Or does it need to be involved in the films? Does everything have to tie back to Snoke or what's happening in stuff that we're seeing in a movie?
I like how these books aren't doing that so far, at least. Like, Night Swan, I thought for the longest time was Ahsoka. Or it was going to be somebody in the established canon, but it wasn't. It was somebody from the book.
Somebody else. It was just a new thing.
And I like that. It just, it's just better. It feels better, that they're these kind of self-contained things that have little hints that some of the more dedicated fans like us will pick up on and connect all these dots. But you could still just read the book and it be a good book and an entertaining story without having to know all this extra stuff.
Yeah, because it's just focused on Thrawn.
Yeah.
Like when you hear about the Death Star, that's like near the end, and you're like, oh yeah, who doesn't know what the Death Star is?
Right.
I think we may have mentioned this before in a previous episode, but the first novels and the first books we got were all like Journey to the Force Awakens, right?
All of them?
For the most part. Most of the first books we got were like Journey to the Force Awakens or character focused, like Leia, Luke, Han type of things. I guess we got Heir to the Jedi.
Yeah.
And we got Tarkin.
Yeah, there were a few that weren't, I think.
But those are all.
There were more.
I don't know. It was like, all right, here's some stories that are going to. It was filling in holes, but I feel like Tarkin, it was the first novel for me. That was the first novel that was like, this is separate from everything else for the most part.
Heir to the Jedi was the first one for me because that came before Tarkin. I never did read that.
Heir to the Jedi, to be honest.
And that was good. It was
but it was still
reading.
About Luke, right?
Yes.
So it was still,
but it was like it was a story about Luke that, I mean, really,
you didn't have to have it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really, it was fun to read. It was a good book, but yeah, you didn't really need to know anything that was in that book.
Okay.
Other than maybe like there were some hints about Jedi artifacts and things like that. That again, little hints that only dedicated fans will pick up on. But as a whole, you could just read it and it's just a good book, regardless of what your dedication to the bigger story is.
I guess so.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's we're starting to get to that point where we're having these books that are it's basically the EU. We're rebuilding our expanded universe.
But this time with like a single vision and
we have a story group. We have a focal point of like, all right, we're gonna keep everything on track. Yeah, it's not gonna turn into a mess where there's a moon dropped on Chewbacca. Like,
what?
That's what happened to Chewbacca. Every time I mention it, you say what?
You said this multiple times.
Yes, a moon was dropped on Chewbacca. Look it up.
That's how he died.
Yeah, jeez. Like a moon crashed into the planet onto him. that's how I picture it. I picture the moon bonking his head and then crashing into the planet. But I think the moon was dropped or like crashed.
Got bonked by a moon.
Moon booping. A moon was dropped
Damn bonking.
A moon was dropped on Chewbacca. You should look it up sometime.
That was at the point in the EU where everything was just falling apart.
Yeah, that's where it was just like, I'm going to write a story about Chewbacca's death. And the other guy's like, I'm going to write a story about Chewbacca living forever. Like, it was just like nothing mattered anymore.
And Jordan was like, yeah, sure.
Just pay the royalties. Just give me the money. Yeah, it got to a mess. But now we have that focal point. There's a story group. It's like, all right, let's all, like, we're dropping hints in multiple books. From multiple authors about this thing that could be this big event or leading to something else that's going to happen.
But at the same time, they're not dictating what the authors have to write. Yes. The authors are still super free.
They still have to, I mean, it's obviously like
story.
The books go through Pablo basically. Like Pablo, like they do a check.
And the rest of the story group.
Yeah, they do a check through them to be like, you can't say this, don't say that name of the planet or
right. And it's more like of a process like as the book is being written.
Yes. So I mean, there's like an editing process of keeping it like, all right, well, we can't give away too much here because we might want to do something with that later or whatever.
Sure.
But having that focal point of like, write your book. By the way, we have this bigger thing happening. So if that, if that like ties into it or if you want to tie it into it type of thing. Because I'm assuming that
it's more of a supportive thing. I think, like I said,
it's a conversation between the story group and the authors. Almost is what it feels like. Where it's like, all right, I have this great story idea. They're like, awesome, that actually fits in with this thing that we're working on, and almost it feels more like a collaboration of like, we have these stories and you have your story. Let's make an even better story together.
Yes, or maybe yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Let us help you make a good story, but also tie it into this canon that we're running. It's basically what you're saying, I guess, yeah. So bottom line, go read Thrawn. It's a good book. It does start out a little slow. I think that's because that's about around where I stopped reading for a little while.
How far in?
Like on my Kindle, it said like about 30 or 40%.
Okay.
Like around there, it just felt
really good.
Slow.
Yeah, at about 30-40%. It's really it's all good, but you're like, where is this going?
That was what I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like where is this going? Does what does this person have to do with this person? Why do we keep hearing about this other story and not just more of what's going on with Thrawn?
And it all ties
and then it all clicks. And then like at about 40-50%. That's when I like couldn't put the book down.
Yeah.
I got to that point. It was like, this is a good book. And I kept going back to it and I'll read some more and I'll read some more. And then I got to 50%. And then it's just like, I had to keep reading and could not stop. Same. So read Thrawn.
Like two sames.
It's fantastic.
It's very good.
It's very, very good.
I really liked it. I especially enjoyed the end. When I enjoyed
when it was done and I could stop reading Thrawn.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Everyone should read it.
Yes, you've got time because the next novel?
I did tell somebody I thought Tarkin was a better book, and I don't know. I think maybe I was only...
Tarkin is a good book.
I think I was only saying that because it was good the whole way through.
Tarkin's really good. I mean,
and I think because
I don't want to compare multiple authors' books. Tarkin's a great book, and so is Thrawn.
Yes,
I have a deep.
They're two different books. Very different.
There's a long-lasting love of Thrawn from like my childhood.
Yes, of course.
That obviously reading this and I'm like, it's Thrawn's
this
back.
Is Thrawn.
This is Thrawn being Thrawn for a whole book. Thrawn's doing Thrawn stuff, being Thrawn. Thrawn.
Yeah, whereas Tarkin is a story that we've never had before.
Tarkin was like, oh yes, okay, Ooh, that happened.
I think
got it.
that was what it was.
Thrawn was like, Thrawn, 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 Thrawn.
I think that's what it was for me, was finding out new information.
Yeah.
Which there was plenty of new information in Thrawn,
Yes,
but
yes.
it's the same character, and not that it was boring at all, but it was just, it's just a slight difference.
Yeah.
I think overall, for me personally, I would recommend read Tarkin first. If you're going to start somewhere, maybe.
You're going to start with books in general. If you're going to start reading.
Have you heard of these book things?
Imagine if we killed trees and scribbled on them with
Imagine
colors.
if you could take what you hear with your ear holes and put it in a picture, but with lines. I don't know.
Sure. So where do we go from Thrawn? We don't have any more novels until September with Phasma and the journey to the path to the Last Jedi, or whatever it's called.
I've got Guardians of the Wills on my Kindle I want to read.
Who cares about them?
Yeah, there's going to be another. That's just going to be a
but the next big push of books is all Journey to the Last Jedi, right? Starting in August and September.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that movie's coming out this year.
In September.
This year, that movie's coming out.
And then The Last Jedi this December.
We've got to stop talking. We've been talking for so long now.
It's been an extra long episode. Just about half an hour too long.
But yeah, Phasma's going to pick it up. I don't know if that book is going to be the first in the Journey to the Last Jedi books, but.
Well, I mean, you've got all those like young adult books, and there's the Leia one from Claudia Gray.
Is that coming out before Phasma?
A lot of them
That's
come
not
out.
Journey to the Last Jedi, though, is it? The Leia one?
It was announced around that.
No, I think
was
you're
announced
right.
with
I think
that,
that's
but-
part of that series.
I think so. I mean, it's part of it, but I don't think it's obviously just filling in. I think some of that, again, is the journey to. It's probably filling in some more story that we might need or would be helpful when you see The Last Jedi. And
Maybe.
that makes sense. Or maybe Laura Dern's character pops up in the Leia book,
Something.
But yeah, I can't think of any big novels until Phasma in September. It's a big Star Wars book break.
Which
There's
is
the
fine
comics.
because I still haven't finished Catalyst. Haven't read basically any of the Aftermath books.
Yes, I know. There's multiple episodes of I know.
Yes. Haven't read Lords of the Sith yet.
Okay.
Which I heard was good. I think that's Paul Kemper.
There's there's that Rebels one, A New Dawn, or
yeah,
The
there's
one with
that
Kanan.
one. There's Rebel Rising that's coming out
that's right, about Jin.
about Jin. There's a bunch of stuff out there that I have barely read any of it.
Yes, that is very true. And then there's the comics, which I don't have the money or the time that I want to read them all.
I'm purposely collecting all the Vader comics. And then there's going to be that, not a reissue, but there's another Vader story that's coming out
Okay,
soon.
like a mini series.
Yeah, I think it's a miniseries.
Yeah.
So I'm purposely collecting all the original Vader stuff, and then I'm gonna do that when that comes out.
All right, that's enough of an episode.
I think so.
If you enjoy us, you can follow us on Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere sounds are made. You can shoot us an email at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com. That's ASKLOBOT @hokeyreligion.com. You can find all of that information on hokeyreligion.com. So just go there, and then you don't have to listen back to all of those things I just said.
Please leave us a review on iTunes. A lot of you have been doing that. Well, some.
A lot of you did that one time.
3 of you.
A long time ago. No, if you
People have
enjoy
been
the
doing
show,
that, and it's super helpful because
It
what
is.
it does is it puts us on lists so more people can find us.
yes, if you enjoy the show and you want other people to find us and listen to us, and you don't want to be the one to tell them to find us and listen to us, then just leave us a review.
Here's a sample review
Put
that
some
you can
words in
leave.
there.
If you've made it this far, just stick around for a few seconds for this review. This was what you type into the Apple Podcast review the text thing.
Word box.
I am a dirty fat person that loves to listen to things.
That's it. Is that it? Just full stop. Not even
I'm not finished.
describing the podcast.
I'm not finished.
I'm a dirty fat person that listens to things. 5 stars.
I'm a dirty fat person that listens to things. Hokey religion is
One of them.
one of them. Period. Done. Just leave. I mean, how hard is it to type that? Nobody ever reads these except us.
Probably. Yes, if you do enjoy the show, leave a review, please. It is very helpful for us.
Seriously.
If you have any questions, comments, things you want us to argue about, just shoot us an email.
Tweet at us. We tweet back almost instantly because
Both of us at the same time, and it's very confusing. So
we both tweet back saying contradictory things.
Yeah, it's great.
So if you want to have some fun
for a good time, tweet at
send
us.
us the tweets.
I think that's all, Michael. Do you have anything else?
No, let's get out of here.
Let's leave.
Let's be done with this.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster, true side.